understand, I think you need to do a little preamble on what KCS is also. Okay.
I'll say that again.
A little description on what KCS is before you start,
Absolutely. I'm going to go into the details of that.
Good deal. Thank you.
Are you able to see my PowerPoint in full screen? Okay, perfect. So today's session, incident management and KCS, and then we have coming up tomorrow, we have service portal and service catalog. On Thursday, we have knowledge management, and on Friday, we have problem change management. So again, today's focus is on incident management and KCS. Project overview. So the applications that we're implementing for LAMP Western are incident, problem, change, catalog, and knowledge, and then obviously the service portal from the end user point of view. Another screenshot of just the service portal. So this will act as the intake for incidents as well as requests. And I do have a go live date approximately of August 30th for you guys. I'm going to start with a little bit of overview on ITSM. If at any point you have any questions, please stop me. I'll try to make some pauses throughout the demos, so allow you guys to ask questions or clarification. So IT service management, it is defined as an organization's strategic approach for designing, delivering, managing, and improving the way IT is used within an organization. So a bit of a diagram on how all the applications interact with each other. Again, we have the service portal. This is the user point of view, so it acts as the intake for both incidents and service requests. The server can also be initiated from the service desk. So the end users are not using the portal, the service desk can initiate both those from the fulfiller side in ServiceNow. So we have incident management, which can turn into problem management, can turn into changes. So we use change management, and we have CI information, which I know you guys are not using the CIs, but they can be referenced across all applications. And knowledge, which acts as the repository for any knowledge articles and information that you share in your organization, and then the CMDB is the relationship between configuration items. A little of terminology for those of you on the call that will be using throughout our training today. We end user, we refer to the individuals using the service portal that will be logging incidents and requesting things. So they'll be submitting their tickets, and they will also have the ability to track their incidents or requests via the service portal. When we fulfiller in ServiceNow, we reference those that have the ITIL role and that are able to update, close incidents, problems, anything that's a task-based record, so able to work on tickets. And then say admin, that's the highest role, so the administrator has the ability to manage access of other people, as well as delete records in the system or make any changes. For particular training, we'll focus on end user and the fulfiller role. So take a pause here, and I would like to do a little bit of a demo. Just a quick question. Is everyone on your side familiar with just the navigational side of ServiceNow, or are you new to ServiceNow?
I would say most of us are all new to ServiceNow. Okay. The group of people have actually seen the interface.
Okay, perfect. So instead of walking you guys through all these slides, I'll go ahead and do a live demo. You can use this for reference when we distribute the PowerPoint. But let me go ahead and switch my screens here for a second. I should be able to see my Limb Western development environment in full screen now. So I'll start it with the user interface. So what here is the user interface of ServiceNow. We have the banner way in the top here. Application Navigator, which includes applications and modules. Example, incident is an application, and anything that comes with incident, all these forms or views are called modules. So they're subsets of the application. The content frame. The content frame is here in the middle, and this is where you'll be able to view all your forms, your lists, and reports or your homepage. So we have the system settings. So if you click on this gear icon on the upper right-hand corner over here, you're able to set your settings. So this is where you set your calendar, the time zone. You can set your themes, and forms. So this is you can allow for tabbed forms or inline forms, and the notifications. And they are only for mobile, desktop, email, and audio. So you can turn those on and off. Now, settings here are personal settings, so they're not system-wide. So just that in mind. Next, the favorites here. You can make any of these applications or modules a favorite. I have already selected Service Desk as a favorite, so when I click on the star icon, I'm able to see. I would suggest for any of you that are fulfilled to make incident application and Service Desk as favorites, so you have it readily available. And you don't have to, every time you would have to come in here, type in, and then it would come up. So the favorites, and then next to it, the icon here is for the history. So this would show the history, whatever access within X amount of days. I think it looks every 30 days, and then it clears out. So your history there. Moving next to lists and filters. Let me go ahead and show what the incident list is. So if we click on open, we'll see all incidents that are open. See that through the breadcrumbs here. So we see all active incidents. Active is true. And list view. If you click on create new, this will be the form view. So every application usually has all these here, all these states here are list views, and the only one that would be a form would be create new. So that would present you with an incident form. The capabilities for list views that you can filter or show matching. So I'll show you that when you click lists, you're able to make changes within the list view. So for example, if we click on the color and click show matching, it would show all the records that I'm the color. And I'll back. And you do the same with filtering out. So if you click filter out, it would show everyone else but me as the caller. So a lot of abilities there. You can also do that, the same thing with any of these columns. So if you wanted to see all incidents that are critical, you would right click, show matching, and it would only show you the incidents that are in the state of critical. Another capability is that you're able to edit in a list view. So this is kind of a newer functionality of ServiceNow where you do not have to go directly in the record. You can make changes in the list view. For example, if you click on category, I can make a selection here and choose subcategory. And I can make the change directly. And you can do the same with multiple records. So if you were to shift, hold down, and the selection, it would update the 4 records here. So you changes directly on the list view. Now to breadcrumbs. What I have up here is a breadcrumb. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. You set your conditions. You will notice that every one of these has a breadcrumb already set up for you. So for example, if I click on resolved incidents, we see that the filter is already set up to query all incidents that are in the state of resolved. And we can verify that here. So we see that the state is resolved. You make a change, run, you would be able to see all the incidents that are in the state of closed. So one way that you can create filters, and you can also save your filters. So if I wanted to save state is closed, since we don't have it on the application navigator here, you click save, name it, so closed incidents, for example, and then it's visible to me, so I can save this filter. I can access it by going to filters, incidents. So we have it over here. Another way to save your filter would be to, and let me make this here. Go to your favorites and you can drag and drop. So you can drag your filter onto your favorites and you would also have it saved here for ease of use. Okay. Another functionality is that you can personalize your list. So again, I'm going to go to our open incidents. This is the list view. Click on the gear here. This is how you can personalize your list. So the selected columns here are the values that we already see. If you wanted to add any of these values here, for example, contact type, we double click and click. We have our contact type here at the end. You will notice that when you make changes to this, there's going to be a dot that appears here. It means that you have made changes to your list view. So as a user, again, when you personalize your settings, these are personal to you. They're not system-wide. You're not making system-wide changes. This is, you set your view how it's most the easier for you to use. And if we click again on the gear and we do reset to column defaults, we would reset our values and it would bring me back to the previous view. So we don't see the contact type anymore. Make changes here. It's very useful for fulfillers to have the updated and updated by, since you would need to see who the record was updated and when. So these are useful to have here, as well as any of these other states have already the values. So I'll take a little bit of a pause before going into forms. I'm sorry, can someone mute their line? I'm getting some background noise. Are there any questions regarding navigation and lists, or how to personalize the lists before I move into the form section?
Hey, Andrea, you probably need to mute your line. Mute her. I don't know if she can see that.
I'm not sure if I'm able to mute someone's.
Yeah, the host, so you should be able to do it.
Okay, let me.
Just right-click their name in there and pick mute. I can't.
Great.
Joined late, but a quick question was: do we have login credentials to sign into this?
You.
They have. All right.
I have those for you guys. I've only given the ones that were requested for today. I can give them to you at the end of this meeting, or within a few minutes here.
I wasn't sure if we were supposed to follow what you're doing here or not, but okay.
Any questions? I'll move into forms. So if we navigate to incidents and click create new, this is the form view of the incident. Now remember, this is the fulfiller view. So end users would use the portal, which is this one, and fulfillers would use the fulfiller view in ServiceNow, which is this one. All the forms are split up in 3 sections. The top section here, this is the general ticket information. So this is where you would see most of the mandatory fields, short description, who is the caller, assignment group. Then, and let me open up, and then that's already opened here, so we can see the different sections. This section here is details with the tabs that we have. So here we have KCS results, and I'll go deeper into this. KCS stands for Knowledge-Centered Support. So this is where you will view your knowledge articles. The notes section, the related records. This would be any problems or changes that you could relate to the incident, and the information. So when the incident is closed, some of the fields here will become mandatory, and I'll go into details of what the fields are. And then here at the bottom, we have the related links and lists. These are related lists here. We have the SLAs, so any SLAs that would be running against the incident would show here. We have incidents. This creates a relationship between the current incident and any children ones. So you have a parent and child relationship, and the support sessions. So, and all the forms are split up in three sections. Now, different field types and icons throughout this form, and I'll go a little bit in detail of some of them. This here would show related incidents. So in VASO, and I'm the caller, if you click on this, you should see all the incidents that are opened against my name. So they're useful for the fulfillers. They would be able to see how many incidents are opened against a caller. So this is a reference icon. So this is the user record. You can shift and hold this one, and you would keep it open, or directly go into it. This is my user details, and applies to the assignment group. So if you hover over, you're able to see the details of the caller without going to the record. You can just hover over. Now here are drop-downs. So you would see that any of these have values. For category and subcategory, these values are dependent on each other. So if I were to change category to hardware, these values would also change. So you would set your category before your subcategory. And have anything that has an asterisk is a mandatory field. In order for you to submit the form, you would need to fill that field out and then submit. And it would show in red. This would be a mandatory field. Another very useful functionality is that if at any point you are not sure what any of these fields are, you can hover over and you would see a short description of what the field is. So for example, for impact, it says the business criticality of the affected service. Notice that most of these fields have a little bit of a short description on them to an idea of what you need to allow out here. Okay, moving on. Next is I'm going to go in detail of the work notes and additional comments, since this is important for any of you that will be fulfilling incidents. So this is a record, and if you click on with additional comments, activity stream, and the work notes. You can turn it on and off, or if you click on this icon, it would show both. The watch list and the work notes list. So the work notes is any notes that you would be typing here would be visible by fulfillers only, not by the customer. This is how you guys will communicate, the fulfillers would communicate with each other on any of the incidents. Addendums is customer visible. So is there anything in here? Anyone who's logging an incident from the service portal, which would be an end user, they would be able to see your comments. So this is one way that you communicate with the end user as a fulfiller. Now, just keep in mind that since these are customer visible, just a bit of extra attention on which field you type in, since this is internal. So this would be one in your company, and this is external. So here you are communicating with the customer that's using the portal. So anything that you type in here would also be logged in the activity stream. So everything in ServiceNow is logged, and there's an audit trail of it. So anything that has been updated and any comments added, they would show up here. Now, the watch list and the work note list. The watch list is all interested users. So if we click on person here, you can see users that are in the system or an email, and be able to notify. They would be notified of any changes in the record, and especially any comments that are added. Notes list is for fulfillers. Anyone who is a fulfiller, you add other fulfillers here, so that they're able to see any changes. And to add in the list, you can add external emails. So even if someone's not a user in the system, you're able to add their email, and they would get notified of any changes. The watch list, add any interested users. The work notes list is fulfiller. Anyone in your organization that is working on resolving incidents. Questions on the difference between work notes and additional comments, or any of the watch list and work notes list. We have my work and preferences. So if we're typing on the left-hand navigator service desk, I already made it a favorite, so I have it readily available. To see my queue. So if I'm a fulfiller and I click on my work, and I'm going to this record, I'll be able to see any incidents here that are assigned to me. Since I do not have any incidents assigned, there's no records, but ideally there would be data here. So any who's logged in, if they click on my work under service desk, they should be able to see any incidents that are assigned to, and then they can start working on those. If on my group's work, be able to see anything that's assigned to their group. So if, let's say, a member of the service desk or member of the infrastructure team, you would be able to see anything in here that your team is assigned to, and either assign help to it since you're a member of the group, or you can just use it as a queue to view what's in your group's list. So this is important, my work and my group's work. You also have incidents here, so this would give you a full view of all active incidents. Navigate to this one if you start typing incidents. So again, you can use them. You click on, and there you're able to see the incidents, or if you use the incident application. So if we go to incident and all, also view your incidents here. I recommend using the service desk application mostly to view your queue. So, again, my work and my group's work. Moving into incident management, there is one setting that you can set up your notifications and subscriptions. So you would go to Application Navigator and type my profile and all service, and click on Notification Preferences, and you're able to subscribe, unsubscribe to any of these notifications. Most of them are by application, so you would see that under incident, I would notify of these notifications through mail. And then subscriptions, if I wanted to subscribe myself to any of these, you would have to add a subscription here. So this is a way you can toggle on and off any of these to subscribe or get notified about incidents or any other task records. Let me just make sure that I've covered everything as far as navigation before we move to incident. One thing, navigate to an incident record and click New. You'll notice that in any of these forms, you're able to add attachments. So either click and add attachments through this, or you can drag and drop. So let me close out. I can take this image and drag and drop, and it would add it as an attachment. So you have that capability in every record in service now, that you can manage your attachments. Okay. So before moving to incident, are there any questions on navigation, forms, lists, or we've covered so far? I'm going to go ahead and swap my screens here. Okay, so a little bit of an overview on incidents versus requests and what incident management is. So to move, especially the end users, they think of an incident as something that's impacting their work, right? So maybe to them it's called a problem. You did an incident, but I have a problem. To billers, however, there's a difference in between incidents and problems.
Yeah.
I'm sorry with that? So in ITIL, an incident is defined as an unplanned interruption or a reduction in the quality of an IT service or a failure of a CI that has not yet impacted an IT service. And incidents as something is broken, and requests are I need something. So for the end users, they would go through the portal, and if they log an incident, that means that something's broken. If they log a request, they need something, and there's a workflow behind requests, and then incidents are handled in other ways. The incident management objective is obviously to restore service as soon as possible, unlike problem management where you would need to find the root cause details. So those incidents do not occur again. So demo will go through the life cycle of incident management. We'll with identification and classification. So this is the user looking the incident through the portal. This will support information and diagnosis, resolution, and finally the closure of the incident. And the incident form is split up in 3 sections. So we have the main form up here, the main details. We have the tab forms here where you would view your knowledge article and a communication with your end user or fulfillers, and the SLAs and children incidents down at the bottom. I'm gonna switch back to my instance. I'm going to demo incident in 2 ways. I'll demo incident from a fulfiller point of view when they open an incident from this view, and then one when the end user reports an incident from the portal. End user, I would come in here and I would click on Get Help and an issue. And I would go and fill out the details. And made the incident, we get an incident number up here. I can incident number, or I could go in here and find it in requests. And go in the fulfiller view, I'm going to go ahead and put that incident number in. Where is the incident that the end user logged? Now remember, since I'm the same person, I'm Vaso here and I'm Vaso here, it would show my name, but ideally, obviously, it would be end user and then a fulfiller coming in here to view this. So with a few fields have carried over, for example, preferred contact method carried over, description and the description directly from the portal. And we see that the contact type gets set to self-service because this incident was logged through the service portal. This new and the assigned group by default is the service desk. So we see that in this form, there are a lot of fields that are already pre-populated if an end user logs their incident through the portal. Now, the fulfiller at this point would choose the category, ideal subcategory, and the impact and urgency. They assign the ticket to themselves. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and choose the service desk here. A lot of the information is already pre-populated based on the information we get from the service portal.
To interrupt, this is Fayaz. Actually, in a remedy, right? So whenever you place your cursor, the user name, okay, in the caller's name, we can able to get the information like user is from which plant, which state. Those information we can able to see if you place cursor in remedy. So how can we see here? So we are working for the plants, right? We have the state here. So how can I know city user is from which plant like that?
So the user details would be if you click on this icon here, the reference icon. So location already in, this is my record, so I don't have a lot of information, but you would be able to see their information here, their manager, department, company. Does that answer your question or?
Yeah, this is what, yeah.
Okay, so actually, someone who's in the system, they have much more information than I do, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick someone else. So we see here that Aaron, they have a lot more information filled in, so that's how you would see. So anyone who's, and another point I wanted to make, anyone who's in the caller field here, getting reference from the user table. So that's how you can make that association.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, and then the fulfiller would come in here and it could communicate with the end user. So I'm going to go ahead and say working on this and post comment. Now it's visible to the user. So if I come in here and I navigate to the incident I just created, I'm able to see the comment that the fulfiller added. This is how you're able to communicate back and forth with the fulfiller. So end user writes OK, and this should update here. So this is the view from the end user. Now, a fulfiller can initiate a ticket directly from the fulfiller view. So they would come in here, they would continue, and see that a lot of the fields are not populated. So they could be getting an incident sign in, right? So the default contact type would be phone, but they would be able to change it. The stay new. And then they would have to fill in the callers. I'm going to go ahead and pick someone here. And obviously the category and subcategory and impact and urgency. And then again, filling in the description with detail. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and pick a group. I'm going to make this incident as a fulfiller. And I'm going to go back to it. Okay. Again, by filling in the call, we're able to see if there's any related incidents, and we see that there's one more besides the one we just created. This KCS results demo for a little later, but I'll show you how they can attach a knowledge article. It works the same way, so this is where you would view the comments. In your related records, you're able to associate a problem, a change request, if it was by a change, or a parent incident. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a parent incident. And you can click and save to remain in the same form. So what it does is it makes it creates parent incident. So now this is the child of that parent. If you directly to the record, so I'm gonna go ahead and click this. So this is the parent incident, and if you scroll down, we're able to see that we have that child incident that we just created. Okay, and the same thing with a problem. You can associate a problem with it with this incident. I'll talk a little bit through the state. So initially, the state is new. If there is working on this, they would move the state to in progress, and I'm going to assign to the service desk, and I'll update the record each time. The fulfiller can set it to update provided. They go on hold. On hold is when you're waiting, and would have these options: awaiting caller, await evidence, problem resolution, or vendor. They could set it to resolved or canceled. So you can cancel an incident and you can resolve an incident. Now, when I go ahead and resolve the incident, I'm gonna update. It gives me a pop-up that I need to fill out the 2 mandatory fields. So I need to say, how was this incident resolved? So I'm gonna say it was not, and it was too costly, and that would enter information here. And this incident is in the state of resolved. And again, you can cancel it. Now, as a fulfiller, you're not able to close the end because you would need the end user's confirmation that actually the incident was closed. So the end user would get an email saying your incident has been resolved. Let's say click here to confirm that it has met your expectations, let's say. So then it would get set to close. Now that user never replies to the email, ServiceNow auto closes the incidents after 5 days. So I think you would not expose the closed state to a fulfiller, as you would want the end user to verify that the incident was actually closed, but they can set it to resolved. Okay, I'm here for a second. I was also going to demo how if you type in the caller field customer, we see there are fields popping up here, and we can select if this. Yes.
This is Jason. Can we? So we we changed that from customer to just external. That record won't be used.
Oh, is that right?
We could do that. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. That was the last thing I was going to demo on that side. Okay. And then just to confirm, Jason, when you guys get incidents from tier point, I believe they would be automatically routed to the service desk, right? Just like these tickets here.
That is correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Another way where you can create a problem or a change would be, let me say this incident. I wanted to fill in the caller. If you click on this context menu in the left-hand corner, you're able to create a problem, a request, or a change from this incident record. So if you click create problem, we see problem gets created, and then you would have to fill out this form. I'll move back here. And you can add attachments to any of these incidents. Let's say you wanted to add a screenshot of something or a knowledge article. You can click on the attachment link here. The submit button here brings you back to that list view. If you want to remain within the same record, you would have to right click and click save. So it sticks you in the same form. Submit brings you to the list view of all incidents. Okay, just make it covered everything here, and then I'll do the KCS right after this. Are there any questions as far as log incident from the portal, how the fulfiller sees the incident, or anything during the life cycle of the incident. Okay. Piece is KCS. K stands for Knowledge-Centered Support. The delivery methodology that focuses on knowledge as a key asset of the organization implementing it. So this has a little bit more capabilities than the regular ServiceNow search functionality, and do a demo of how the KCS in the incident form. So go back to our instance. This is a new incident, so we'll go here. And I start typing something in the short description. Are there any knowledge articles in? Let's see. Let me go to another one. Okay. Use this one since there's some articles here. So if I start typing a short description, it would query the knowledge base, and it would display articles that the fulfiller can attach to hopefully resolve the incident. So these are all our results that have the keyword of test. Now we see quite a few information here. We see that it was in a knowledge base. We see, ideally, we would see the name of the author, when it was published, and when the last modified. Now remember, all these articles here have already been published, so they have gone through review, hopefully by a knowledge manager, and they're ready for use by the fulfillers. We do see here that all the articles that get displayed are published. I'm able to see the use count and the view count. The difference is the use count is it's how many times this article has been attached to the incident. So article has been used X amount of times. And view count, how many times it was viewed by fulfillers. Important to look at this since article can be viewed many times, but maybe it's not used. So you can use that criteria to determine if the article is actually useful. If article, it will show the article in the same page, so you do not have to navigate away from it like you would have before. You indicate if it was helpful or not. So click yes. I tag an article. This is where you would make comments and go to the knowledge manager, and they would review. I'm going to submit my comment. I attach this knowledge article to the incident. So if I click attach, it plays this KCS solution field. So it's that this incident has this article attached to it. And also edit the article. So if I click on edit, I'm able to make changes navigating away from the incident. So I can to the article, the body of the article, or any of the other field in here, and I can update. Let's see. Went through. So the fulfiller can indicate if it was helpful. They can flag the article with any comments. Let's say the article needs to be updated. They can attach it to the incident. Go back to my results here. Got this. Okay. So again, useful, especially if these knowledge articles have been reviewed, then obviously the fulfillers would have more relevant articles to attach to the incidents. They're in the state of published, so they have already been reviewed by someone. And I think we covered everything regarding KCS. Are there any questions? We're way ahead on time. I would be glad to answer any questions, or maybe there's something else that you want me to demo. So I'll open it up to you guys.
Joni, just as a reminder, we're going to be receiving a copy of today's session. Is that correct?
Yes, recording the session. We'll send a copy of the recording, and then we also have the PowerPoint deck I was showing earlier. We'll distribute that as well.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Pretty straightforward. Intuitive to you guys. I know for some of you that may be new, this might be a little bit different than any other systems that you've been using, but does this seem?
It seems like it's pretty easy to use compared to what we have done.
Yeah.
You know, I would have assumed that we'll be getting something that is going to tell us the policy, using all the things and adding info to the knowledge base and all that fun stuff.
You may need any supporting documentation? So I believe, and I don't know who from your side, that has already been distributed. So I created your guides on all of these applications. So you would have documentation on everything that we've covered today.
I've seen anything besides the invite candidates. I'll probably miss something. So
I'll follow up with Reynolds, but I do know that we've created materials for you guys.
Joni, we send those to you. Okay, but I'm quite sure I sent it to you.
Okay, if you can verify, Reynolds, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
Other questions?
This is Bill Cox. I was just going to add that our intent is to have a process in place to develop knowledge-based articles and then get them published. Get the right content published out here, so users can do a little bit more self-service. So our knowledge is all captured in one place. Everybody on this call is going to have to contribute to that to help build that out and mature that out. So more to come on the process, and we're looking for things that we can get published as soon as possible. It'll also enable our tier point team to be able to handle more calls, first call resolution as well.
So I'm not sure if is it the same group of people that would be in the training tomorrow. Tomorrow we have service portal and service catalog. So would one of you be in tomorrow's training?
That would be correct.
Okay. Great. Anything from your side?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording at this point.